Daryl Sutter's comments, your boy. So Toronto went 3 for 6 on the power play on Saturday. Let's hear what Sutter had to say post game first and foremost.
Well, that's one thing I learned a long time ago, Eric. When you're in Chicago all those years, when you play and you come into Toronto, you know what goes on. I won't say nothing more.
So, Rosie, let me ask you this. Was he talking about King Street West, what goes on after the game with the boys?
Yeah, he was talking about all the mayhem down on downtown after the game that he's not allowed to be involved in anymore. No, I'm surprised, man. He must, like, to me, that is him being uber bloody frustrated. Like, that's him being really frustrated for a guy that stays really even keel and doesn't usually, do anything but call the most obvious things and blame his own players. And it is what it is. And hey, we got to be better. He pretty much just said that the league is biased towards the Toronto Maple Leafs, where, people who are in love with the Leafs and follow them, they've got plenty to bitch about getting screwed over or bad calls or bad breaks or bad this or bad that. But I don't know. I'm just surprised that a guy of his caliber is going to do that and cause that many waves. Like, let's be honest here. You're high sticking guys in the face and stuff. I mean, it wasn't like there were these weak ass little hooking penalties that didn't do anything. I mean, those happen in every game for every team, and to call it the league for being biased towards the Leafs I just don't buy it, man. I think they broke it down on the podcast, and every panel to a guy was like, yeah, I don't know about that take, man. Like, those are pretty obvious penalties to me. So I was surprised to hear it. What do you think about him? That was a big statement to me.
Yeah, it's always the same shit. Every time somebody rolls through Toronto, they don't get their way. Maybe your goaltending needs to be better, right? Like, that was a big story for me, is like Dan Vidar was not good enough to win that game, and Toronto's just too powerful offensively. Yeah, I'm always careful to take anything Daryl Sutter says with a grain of salt, because it's always calculated, being in that area in Alberta, that like, this guy's calculated. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's won before. He knows what he's doing. And I do think maybe it was the art of deflection, where everybody's talking about the penalties and all that, instead of Calgary losing another game and really, really struggling to find their identity so far in this season. Because you look at the numbers, he just comes out there with no statistical output to back it up. The Leafs ranked 28th in power play opportunities since 16-17. Now, granted, you look at the numbers this year, I believe they're in the top 12, top 11 in terms of power plays. And it'll help when you get 6 on Saturday. But like, I don't watch the games to suggest that the Leafs are always on the power play. Like, honestly, it feels like the opposite. And again, the numbers will back that up, where they don't seem to get the benefit of the doubt on a nightly basis. But I think this is more calculated than that. I think you're so bang on. It was frustration on Sutter's part, no?
Yeah, I mean, we'll look at the night before. They took, 6-7 penalties in Columbus the night before. So what happened there? And if you want to crunch the numbers, is Toronto number 1, 2, 3 in power plays every single year, in and out? Yeah. Well, then you got a reason to put your hand up and say, hey, it seems like this team's getting some calls. It's not even close to that. So it's just totally unbiased comments. And man, if he's going that deep with, I'm gonna go pull this out in the media and deflect the attention away from our team, holy shit, he's doing some big puppet master in there. I think he was just frustrated and said same old bullshit. Like, he's just pissed off, like, going into Toronto when we get a bunch of, we're killing penalties all night. Well, you were the night before in Columbus. And I mean, when you're a really good team like the Toronto Maple Leafs are, and you're flying and you're winning everything, you're going to get some power plays, because the guys are going to be stretching, the line on what's allowed and what's not, trying to stop these big boys from filling their net. And when you do that, you're going to get your stick on a guy. You're going to get it up when a guy beats you. You're going to be reaching a little bit. You're going to trip a guy up, and you're going to take a few penalties. And the Flames are obviously being a little bit undisciplined right now. I just surprised he said it. Maybe he's doing the old mind games, trying to, it just doesn't seem like Sutter to protect his team from getting, he would be the one to say, yeah, let's light our team up. We're not good enough right now. He's usually that cut and dry.